Welcome to my channel Online Technical Mentor. In this video, I'm going to present the fundamental of computer, the basic organization of a computer, and the peripheral devices connected with this machine. I will also show you how it works, what are the internal operations. This video is basically for the beginners who is going to learn this subject for the first time. The details of each and every component of this computer will be shown in separate videos. This video is basically an overall idea of a computer. So the word computer comes from the word compute, which means to calculate. A computer normally is considered to be a calculating device that can perform arithmetic and logic operation at an enormous speed. A computer sometimes referred to as a data processor. Now let's see the definition of computer first.
What is a computer? A computer is an electronic device that manipulates information or data. It has the ability to store, retrieve, and process data. Computers are instructed to carry out sequences of arithmetic and logical operations via computer programming. Since computer deals with information or data, so let's see what is data and information. Computer data and information. Data are raw materials and these are basic unorganized fact used by the computer. You can say that data are discrete components. You cannot conclude or recognize anything from data. Suppose let's take an example. Here is a number 28091,991. So what does this number signifies? You can't guess anything from this. It may be a currency, it may be a weight, it may be a distance. So when this number is written in an organized way, that means you have to write this number along with some attributes or with some symbol so that it will be meaningful to you. Now, information are finished products, that is, information are meaningful and organized data. So when the above number is written like this, that means it is a calendar date. Next, come to functional component of a computer. This is a simplest block diagram of a digital computer. Every computer has a motherboard where all types of circuitry are present. Within this motherboard, a special device called a CPU is attached. This CPU is also called the brain of a computer or the core of a computer. This CPU interacts with the input, output and other memory devices. Full form of CPU is Central Processing Unit, has three basic components. The first one is Arithmetic and Logic Unit. In short, it is called ALU. Control Unit, in short, it is called CU. And register. There are many more components within this CPU, but this is the basic three component. Along with these three components, there are MBR, MAR, instruction register, stack pointer. So we will study all these things in advanced computer organization. CPU interacts with the memory. So the data within the memory may come into the CPU or the processed data may be stored within the memory. So I have drawn a bidirectional line in case of CPU and memory. Look at the left hand side. This is the input device. So whatever the data we send through input devices, it will first go into the memory. Then those data will be fetched by the CPU. So in the simplest manner, I have just point the arrow from input device to CPU. In the same way, the processed data may be sent to the memory or to the output device. So now, what is arithmetic and logic unit? As the name signify, it performs arithmetic and logic operations. It can perform four basic arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. But it follows binary arithmetic. Next, control unit. The control unit of the CPU contains circuitry that uses electrical signals to direct the entire computer system to carry out or execute stored program instructions. It also directs other part of the system by communicating with both arithmetic logic unit and memory. Then the registers. They are special purpose high speed temporary memory units. These are temporary storage area for holding various types of information such as data, instruction, addresses, and the intermediate result of calculations. Essentially, they hold the information that the CPU is currently work on. Along with these three components, there are many more components like MAR, MBR, instruction register, stack pointer. So all these things will be discussed in advanced computer organization. Now let me show you the interconnection between functional components. So a computer has a CPU, memory, input device, output device. All these components are connected through some wires. And the external devices, input device, output devices are connected with these wires through controller. The internal wires of a computer are called bus. The term bus is used to denote a group of wires which act as path for digital signal. In other words, a collection of wires through which data is transmitted from one part of a computer to another is known as bus. A bus consists of multiple paths which are also termed as lines. Each line is capable of carrying one bit at a time. Look at the yellow line. A bus that connects to all three components, CPU, memory, I/O components, is called a system bus. The system bus is composed of address bus, data bus, and control bus. So what is address bus? The memory may be divided into linear array of bytes or words. And for the purpose of reading or writing any information onto memory, CPU needs to specify the address of a particular location. This address is supplied by address bus. Thus, the width of address specifies the maximum possible memory supported by a system. Next, the data bus. This one, data bus. A bus which carries data block to and from memory is known as data bus. Its width is equal to the data block length in bits of the memory. Normally, a data bus consists of 8, 16 and 32 bits separate lines. And the control lines are collectively called control bus. These lines are used for transmission of commands and timing signal between the system modules. Next, let me show you the classification of computer. Computer can be classified as digital, analog and hybrid. Let's start with digital computer. It processes information in discrete form. All data are represented in binary form, that is zeros and ones. The accuracy of digital computer is quite good. Next, analog computer. It works on continuously changeable aspect of physical phenomenon like speed, voltage, temperature and pressure. You can think that a thermometer is a one type of analog device. And the hybrid computer, it has the speed of analog computer and the accuracy of a digital computer. Moreover, it has the measuring capability of an analog computer and the logical, arithmetic and control capabilities of the digital computer. Since we are going to study about the digital computer only, so let me show you the classification of digital computer. So this is the classification. A digital computer can be classified into four main categories, that is a microcomputer, mini computer, mainframe computer and supercomputer. A microcomputer is a computer with a central processing unit, CPU, as a microprocessor. Designed for individual use, a microcomputer is smaller than a mainframe or a mini computer. The term microcomputer is not as commonly used as it was during the 1970s or 1980s. We now refer to microcomputer as simply computer or personal computer. So microcomputer again classified as desktop, laptop, palm top, notebook, PDA is also under microcomputer. This is called the personal digital assistance. Next, the mini computer. A mini computer lies between the mainframe and the microcomputer because its size is smaller than the former one and the larger than the latter one. A mini computer is also called as a mid-range computer. Mini computer are mainly multi-user system where more than one user can work simultaneously. They are mainly used as small or mid-range server operating businesses and scientific applications. However, the use of the term mini computer has diminished and has merged with servers. A mini computer may also be called as mid-range computer. Next, mainframe computer. These are primarily used by large organizations for critical applications, bulk data processing such as census, industry and consumer statistics, and enterprise resource planning and transaction processing. Mainframes are designed to handle very high volume input and output and emphasize throughput computing. A single mainframe can replace dozens or even hundreds of smaller servers. And finally, supercomputer. Supercomputer are commonly applied to the fastest high-performance system available at any given time. Such computers have been used primarily for scientific and engineering work requiring exceedingly high speed. A supercomputer incorporates architectural and operational principles from parallel and grid processing, where a process is simultaneously executed on thousands of processors or is distributed among them. Now let me show you the input and output devices. So these are some input devices that can be connected with the computer. We all deals with keyboard and mouse. Along with keyboard mouse, there are other input devices like joystick, OMR, which is called optical mark reader. Special marks such as square or bubble are prepared on examination answer sheet or questionnaires. The user fill in the square or bubbles with soft pencil or ink to indicate their choice. These marks are detected by any optical mark reader and the corresponding signals are sent to the processor. Next, OCR, optical character reader. OCR is a process of scanning printed pages as images on a flatbed scanner and then using OCR software to recognize the letter as ASCII text. The OCR software has tools for both acquiring the image from a scanner and recognizing the text. Next, magnetic ink character reader. MICR is widely used by banks to process large volume of checks and deposit forms written every day. A special ink called magnetic ink is used to write characters on a check and deposit form which are to be processed by a MICR machine. It is capable of reading characters on a paper written with magnetic ink. It's not possible for me to give the diagram of each and every component, so we'll get all the diagram in the internet. Next, the other input devices are round ball and trackball, microphone. I think you all know microphone, touch screen, barcode reader. I think you have seen this machine in shopping mall. Then light pen, tablet. Tablet means it's one kind of pad and it has a pen. So whatever you are writing on this pad, that will be reflected in the computer monitor. Then data globe. So it's a special kind of globe. You can operate a robot with this globe. That's mean when you are moving your hand, it is synchronized with the corresponding machine or a robot. So according to your movement, the robot will work accordingly. So there are many more input devices. It's not possible to describe each and everything over here. Next, come to the output devices. So output devices of a computer may be a monitor. Monitor can be again classified into CRT, LCD, LED, plasma. Within a CRT monitor, you will get a picture tube within it and a cathode anode plate over there. LCD, liquid crystal display, LED light emitting diode, and a plasma type monitor. Then projector, printer, plotter, speaker. Plotter is one kind of a big printer where a banner or a flex are printed over there. Look at the right hand side. This is a diagram of a plotter. These are the output devices for a computer. Now let me tell you some example of printer. So printer again can be classified into impact printer and non-impact printer. First, the impact printer. The impact printer works by physically striking a head or needle against an ink ribbon to make a mark on the paper. This includes daisy wheel, drum printer, and dot matrix printer. Look at the right hand side. This is a picture of dot matrix printer. It prints one character at a time. The speed of dot matrix printer is measured in characters per second. The speed can vary from about 200 to over 500 characters per second. Next, the non-impact printer. Non-impact printer do not use a striking device to produce character on paper, and as these printers do not hammer against the paper, they are much quicker. In this type of printer, ink is sprayed on paper through nozzle to form characters and patterns. Inkjet, laser, thermal printer are some of the example of non-impact printer. Now I am going to give you a concept of bits and bytes. Digital computer works with 0 and 1 only. So 0 and 1 are called bits of a computer. So when you combine 4 bits side by side, so it's called nibble. And the combination of 8 bits is called a byte. Look at the chart below. So combination of 8 bit is called 1 byte. Since the computer only understands 0 and 1, 2 digit only, so we will say that computer understand binary number system. Just as our decimal number system, there are 10 digit from 0 to 9. In a binary system, there are only 2 digit 0 and 1 only. In decimal number system, 1000 means 1 kilo. And in binary number system, 2 to the power 10, which is equal to 1024, is considered as 1 kilo. Why 1024 is considered as 1 kilo in binary system, that will be discussed in separate videos. Now, so 1024 byte will be 1 kilobyte. It is written as 1 KB. Now 10 KB can be written as 1 megabyte. 1024 megabyte equal to 1 gigabyte. 1024 gigabyte equal to 1 terabyte. So this is not the last unit, and it is not the end. There are many more. So we will study from bit byte to 1 terabyte here. That will be enough for us. So these bit bytes, kilobyte, MB, GB and TB are the measuring unit of a storage area. So within a computer or an electronics device, if there is a storage area, so you have to specify what is the amount of storage area. So you have to express this storage area in terms of bit, bytes, kilobyte, MB, GB or in TB. Since these bits and bytes are related with storage area or simply memory, let me tell you something about memory. The computer memory is divided into two categories, primary memory and secondary memory. Now, primary memory is made of purely electronic semiconductor devices and it can directly communicate with the CPU of the computer. Primary memory is basically needed by the system itself at the time of processing. The cost of primary memory, this primary memory is also called main memory, is much higher as compared to secondary memory. It is much faster than the secondary memory also. So now the primary memory is again divided into two parts, RAM and ROM. RAM means random access memory and ROM means read-only memory. Now RAM is a read and write memory. That is, one can read from it and also can write something there. It is also called random access because the access time, that is the time taken to retrieve some information from RAM, is independent of the exact location of the entire RAM where from it is to be retrieved. That means in case of RAM, whatever be the location of the stored information in the entire storage, it will take some amount of time to retrieve the stored information. Again, RAM is divided into SRAM and DRAM. SRAM means static RAM and D stands for dynamic. I will show you a difference between SRAM and DRAM just after this presentation. So for the time being, move to ROM, read-only memory. So ROM is another kind of primary memory. Here some information or instruction is stored by the manufacturer. This information cannot be erased by the user while working with computer, but the content of ROM can be read any number of times. So this memory is not at all volatile but permanent. The instructions stored within ROM are sometimes called firmware. These are necessary whenever power is supplied to the computer because these instructions perform various functions to ensure that all the peripheral devices attached to the computer are working properly. ROM can be classified as three parts, that is PROM, EPROM and EEPROM. PROM means programmable read-only memory. That means one can write a program on a ROM, but it is a one-time. After that, it cannot be erased or modified. Next, EPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory. That means one can erase the program within the ROM, but it is not so simple. To erase the data within a EPROM, it requires a series of steps. And next, EEPROM, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. That means the program within a ROM can be erased electrically. So by passing electricity, one can erase the data within the EPROM and again she or he can write the program over there. Next come to the other part of the memory, that is the secondary memory. Secondary memory, within the secondary memory all data are stored permanently, and the secondary memory can be classified as FDD, floppy disk drive, hard disk drive, magnetic tape, optical drive. Within optical drive there are some categories, that is compact disc, CD, digital versatile discs, DVD and Blu-ray. Other secondary devices are flash drive and SSD, solid state device. Now let me discuss about SRAM and DRAM. Look at the differences. The technology of a DRAM consists of tiny capacitors. Capacitor is a device which can hold charge. So by holding charge, it can store a bit of information. So I have written constructed of tiny capacitors that leak electricity. That's mean when you are not working for a long time, electricity may leak out from there. So it require a refresh. And in case of SRAM, it is constructed with a special circuit which are called flip-flop. Flip-flop can store 1 and 0. So if you have a familiar with flip-flop circuit, then you will understand what is D flip-flop. So for the time being, just forget about everything. Just think flip-flop is a one kind of device which can hold 1 and 0. So SRAM are designed with that flip-flop. DRAM requires a recharge every few milliseconds to maintain its data. Since it store data in a capacitive action, so it require a refresh or a recharge after a certain interval of time. In case of SRAM, it holds its content as long as power is available. DRAM is inexpensive, SRAM is expensive. Comparatively slower than SRAM, SRAM is comparatively faster than DRAM. DRAM can store many bits per chip. SRAM cannot store many bits per chip. DRAM uses less power, SRAM uses more power. DRAM generates less heat, SRAM generates more heat. DRAM are basically used for main memory or RAM, and SRAM are used to make cache memory. So cache memory are a high-speed memory stored within the processor, or it may be placed outside the processor. And we will discuss about this cache memory later on. And this is all for this video. Subscribe to my channel Online Technical Mentor and press the bell icon for latest update. Thank you.